Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Do You Symbaloo? And we will be getting to the topic of Symbaloo in just a few minutes, but first I'm going to do
tomorrow.
few
Computer lab.
housekeeping things. One of which is I'm going to mute all the lines that are unmuted. That way we will not have any background noise. Just as soon as you think that it's quiet in your room or wherever you're at, somebody walks in or a bell rings. So there's no need for everyone's lines to be unmuted, as we will do questions and comments through the chat box. So if you will please keep your line muted, that would be fabulous. Thank you. And so that also brings up the chat box. Hopefully you all see the chat box over on the right side of your screen. Please use that throughout the call today to share questions and comments as we go. You can ask the presenter questions. You can also ask questions of other participants and also share ideas that you might have or ways that you're already using Symbaloo. Again, use this as a back channel, not just to ask questions, but share ideas so that everyone can get something out of the call.
Request an operator.
So, okay. Mute that. Okay, I did not introduce myself. My name is Mary Carnahan, and I am the e-learning resource specialist with the Department of Education, and I get to schedule and produce and oftentimes host these webinars. So welcome to today's call. And I think that's all of my housekeeping things. Keep your line muted. Ask questions in the comment box. Also, make sure that when you're making comments or asking questions, choose everyone from that Send To drop-down. It will default to just send your questions to me or your comments to me, and we want to make sure that everyone can see them. Also, in just a few minutes, we will be changing presenters. I'll be changing over to Jennifer, who's going to be doing our presentation today, and at that time your Send To drop-down will probably change to her or will change back to me from everyone. So just make sure that when you're commenting, you choose everyone from that Send To box. So again, a few things coming out of our office. Just want to let you know of some other professional development opportunities that we have. We do these webinars at least once a month. So this is the only one that I have scheduled in February, and our next webinar is going to be a month from now, a month from today. March 21st will be SketchUp Pro in the Tech Classroom and beyond. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, please check that out. Same time, same place. There's information on our website regarding that webinar and how to register. Also, if you are on Twitter, we hope that you are connecting with other Indiana educators by utilizing the INELearn hashtag. That's a great way to connect to other teachers who are using technology in their classroom and in a variety of different subject areas and grade levels. We do have regular Thursday night Twitter chats at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, and this week's topic is what does global learning look like in the digital age classroom? And this is co-hosted by the two techie teachers, Tiffany and Brittany, and also Jill Warner from the Global Learning Office at the Department of Education will be co-hosting that Twitter chat. So that should be some great information coming Thursday night this week. And also, it is Digital Learning Month. You may not be aware of that. Hopefully some of you are, but Digital Learning Day is a national initiative that is this coming Thursday, February 23rd, again, coinciding with that Twitter chat this week. But we decided when Digital Learning Day started that it really needed a month and not just a day. So we are happy to share digital learning highlights and opportunities throughout the month. And we are in the middle of our two specific digital learning months, well, one specific digital month initiative, and then two things that just get to coincide with that. Digital Learning Month blog is going on now, and you'll see the link to that above, and I can put that in the chat window. But we have had teachers blogging every weekday this month about different digital learning initiatives, utilizing different apps and things in the classroom. So we've had some really great information, and actually our month started with Jennifer blogging about Symbaloo on February 1st. So we've got just, 5 more days, 3 days this week and 2 days next week of that blog coming. And then regularly we do Instagram takeovers. So different school districts, schools, and classrooms take over our Instagram account and, again, show what digital learning looks like in that district or that school or that classroom. So we have that going on this month. And then also our Winter ELearning Book Club, again, just kind of coincided with that, started on February 6th. And it is not too late to join in. If you're looking for an opportunity to just get some professional development outside of the school day on your own time, kind of at your own pace, as long as it's within this 10 weeks. We are reading Launch, Using Design Thinking to Boost Creativity and Bring Out the Maker in Every Student. Again, we started this on February 6th, so we're in week 3, but it is definitely not too late to join in. You can download the book today, buy it and download it today, and start reading and catch up on the first 3 weeks and join in on the fun. We have some really great conversations. Lots of connections are made through that book club. We do 3 book clubs a year, so this is our first one for 2017. And participants in the book club not only get the great ongoing professional development and connections with their peers, but also can earn up to 20 PGPs. So if you're looking for a way to get some professional development and get some PGP points, this is a great opportunity. And I think that this takes us to our topic for the day, which is Symbaloo. And I'm hoping that Jennifer has joined us. She finishes with her students right at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. So hopefully she's able to join us. I see that she's here. So are you unmuted, Jennifer? I don't hear you. It's either *6 or #6.
Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yay, it worked.
Okay, so Jennifer, I will let you introduce yourself and take it away. I will change presenters here. Again, everybody, make sure that when you are making comments in the chat box that you select everyone, because that is going to change here as Jennifer takes over the presentation. But I'm going to mute myself and go to the background and let you take it away, Jennifer.
Okay, Mary, did you make me a host so I can upload my PowerPoint?
I just made you the presenter, so you should be able to go to that Quick Start tab and share.
Okay, I've got it right here.
Okay.
I will go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. I began my teaching in another Catholic school. I was a technology coordinator and a teacher at Holy Redeemer Catholic School. I left there and I became an e-learning coach for the EVSC. Then I moved into 5th grade for 2 years, and I received a phone call from a friend of mine who at St. Peter and Paul, who asked if I would come here and work, and I couldn't tell her no. So I'm back in the Catholic school system. I began using Symbaloo about in 2010, 2011, and I became a certified professional.
Early bus riders, please join us in the science room quietly. Daycare, please go to the Family Life Center.
I apologize. We're still in dismissal. But we're all teachers, we know. So anyway, I became a certified professional development rep for Symbaloo in 2013. And over the past few years, I have gone to conferences and represented them and spoke and trained people on the use of Symbaloo and other things that Symbaloo has to offer. So with that being said, Kimmy will not be joining us today. She's at a conference. She is actually a paid employee for Symbaloo. I just do stuff for them voluntarily, just out of the goodness of my heart. So I will move forward and tell you a little bit, because I was trying to catch up on some of the chats, and I saw that the majority of you are fairly new to what Symbaloo is. There is a Symbaloo, and then there's Symbaloo EDU. They're pretty much the same thing, but the Symbaloo EDU is more geared towards the educational environment. So this is the better option for teachers and even students. Symbaloo is a visual bookmarking tool. It allows you to, I compare it to Pinterest, because with Pinterest, that's a visual bookmarking. You find a website, you can put it on Pinterest and save it for later. So Symbaloo is a lot like that. It makes it very easy to share with your students and share with other educators. So from here, I'm going to share my screen, and I want to show you so we can get started. Now, we practiced this last week, so I'm hoping when you decide you want to get Symbaloo.
Walkers, please go to the front entrance and line up quietly.
I think that's the last one. So here's how you would get started. You would go to symbalooedu.com. You would create your account. Once you create, and my account is going to look a little bit different because I'm a quote-unquote professional for them, and what that means is I went through their certification program, and when you go through that certification program, you obtain a special URL. You can create whatever URL you want, and that makes it more your own Symbaloo page. So mine will look just a little bit different than what yours would, and if you choose to go into any of their certification programs, there are other things that they ask that you do for them, and I believe that signed me into the wrong one, but this is fine. This is what you would see once you created your account. What we're looking at right now is what they call a web mix. There's specific terminology whenever you want to discuss a Symbaloo page with somebody. A web mix is a compilation of tiles. And if you can see my mouse moving, all these little squares are called tiles. So once you understand the terminology, then it's easy to get started. So what we're looking at right now is a web mix. Up here are different web mixes. We can click on them, and these are ones that, if you notice, they're locked. These are not web mixes that I have created. These are just web mixes that once you create your account, you will automatically have those on your account, and you can remove them at any time. When you decide that you want to create your own web mix, you would just simply click on that plus sign, and we would name it. And Mary, I do not have my chat window open, so if there's any questions, I think if I do that, then you'll see my chat. So I'll take the questions whenever I get finished with this, if that's okay. So now we're looking at a blank web mix. And what I want to do, I'm going to back up for a second and explain to you how I use this with my students. I am the IT director, so I do a lot of the networking and computer work and everything just because that was what I originally went to school for. I also teach technology 2 days a week. So I have students that come in all day long, Tuesday and Thursday, and I try to teach them, applications, programs, things that are going to be useful for them in their classroom, and then the teachers take that.
Please line up in the science room quietly. Have a terrific Tuesday.
So when my students come in, and it's kind of comical because the kindergarten students even started telling their teacher, click on the Google icon, the Symbaloo page is there. So I have my Symbaloo page set as the home page in the computer lab. So when the students come in, they automatically know, okay, I can go there. And I have put links to things that are very useful to them. we use Google Classroom, so I have that on there. Any websites that I feel like are beneficial to them. And so that's the way that I guide them on what they're going to do in technology class. So from here, if I want to add a tile, I would just simply click here, and then you have this option over here. If you know what the website is, you would just create your tile. But one thing that is great about Symbaloo is there's so many tiles already created and in their system, and we can just do a search. I'm sure most of you are familiar with ABC. So if you notice, there is the tile. To add it, I just simply click on it, and it adds it over there for me. But if I wanted to type one in, I could do that, and I would put the web address here. I always make sure and choose Show the Text. I can choose the color of the tile. I can choose an icon to represent. So there's all different kinds. Or I can even upload my own image here. Once I create it, then I just add it to the web. I just add it to my web mix. Whenever you have created your web mix, you kind of are at that point where you're like, so I've done this, what do I do with it? So we can share it, and then I'm going to show you different ways that I have shared it. When you have created it, you want to make sure that you name it what you want to name it. I created one for a teacher once just on apples, because I know first grade always does an apple unit at the beginning of the year. So I found everything on apples I could possibly find that was geared towards first grade. I created a Symbaloo web mix, and I shared it with that teacher, so then she shared it out with her students, and it made things much easier when they wanted to use the technology in their classroom. You would go right and click on the share, and it's going to give you all of these different options. It is that I recommend that you go ahead and share it publicly unless you are sharing private documents and such, but I don't recommend that you do that. If you're wanting to create some type of personal learning community and you share confidential information, I would not necessarily use this for that, because sharing it publicly makes it much easier sharing it with other people. And you always have to click and make it to where you share it publicly. And then I click on Share My Web Mix. Once I do that, you notice over here we have links. You can copy this link. You can share it with anybody through email. I've shared them on Facebook, our school Facebook page. You can go ahead and send an email here. You can share it directly on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Classroom. And that is awesome if any of you are using Google Classroom. This is a new option that they've added recently. Now, what I have done for our school website, because our students utilize this so much and they rely on it for the web addresses, because we all know it's hard to remember the web addresses. So I just simply chose my embed code, I copied it, and then if I take you to our school website, and I take you to my technology page, if it wants to work for me. You're going to see that this is what my students see when they come into technology class. And any of my teachers in the building can also make this their home page on their web browser. So when the students come in, they know that these are things that they use on a regular basis. Then they have specific pages for kindergarten, first grade, and so forth. So if I clicked on my first grade, it's going to open up a new web mix. And since I'm not logged into this account, so it's going to look like this for you. So these are different websites that I have put together and said this is what I like for kindergarten, and I just have been adding to it throughout the year, because the kindergarten class they start very, very basic, and then they grow throughout the year. At the beginning of the year, the kindergarten teacher said the Alphabot videos are very popular with the students. And so whenever they're working on it, I created a web mix, and I put in every single Alphabot video I could find, and I created that for the kindergarten teachers and for myself in case I wanted to use it in the technology lab. A nice feature whenever you do embed a YouTube video, you put it into your web mix, is the way that the students view it. They will not go to YouTube. The video will pop up, and it will play right here in your Symbaloo web mix. And then they can just scroll through and go through all the different videos, or they can come and scroll down and see them this way and pick and choose. So those are ways that I have shared it out. I want to go back in and show you. Where was I? Here we go. Now, once your web mix is created, there's options that you can do, and I make it fun for the students. At Christmas time, I made the backgrounds look pretty Christmassy and just made it personal for them, and even gave them the option. So under the options, you can always rename your web mix. You can change your wallpaper, and these are the stock wallpapers that Symbaloo has. You can upload your own, and that's what I did at Christmas time, and that's what I'm about to do for like spring and St. Patrick's Day. And you can choose an icon for your web mix. You can resize it. So if this is too big, you can make it smaller. I don't know why it's not going smaller for me. You can make it transparent, or you can make it non-transparent. And the markers, you can add those. There are an abundant amount of ways that you can utilize Symbaloo in your classroom. I am going to go back to, I'll be right back with you. I'm trying to share the file again. Here we go. Now I'm back in here, and I've kind of flown through it. I know that we have an entire hour, so I'm going to keep going with some other things that I'd like to share with you. Here it is. It was already there. I'm sorry. Always remember that technology does not work the way that you want it to. Okay. So I'm going to move into some other things that Symbaloo has to offer for you. Any of these things that I'm showing you right now, if you are brand new to Symbaloo, I don't recommend that you jump in head first, feet first, however you want to say it, and go through with this. In the future, if you decide that it's something that you want to do, then go for it. The Symbaloo EDU Certified, you can get free with my code right there. It's not $10 or anything like that. And it's going to get you a little bit more than what just the free version is. And if you go into if you want to go into it further and you become one of their certified professional development people, there's other things that they ask of you besides getting your own URL for your Symbaloo page. They ask you to do Twitter chats. I've written blog posts for them. And one thing that I've gone and started doing is traveling and going to conferences and speaking for them. Not that it pays me well. If I'm going to be at a conference anyway, then I go ahead and I submit a proposal. If they are one of the sponsors, then I don't have to worry about it. My proposal is automatic, and I just speak on their behalf and I introduce things. Whenever you get comfortable using Symbaloo, I'm going to go back to this just for a second. I forgot. Okay. This is something that Symbaloo came out with about a year ago, and I was very, very excited to be able to start and show people this. So whenever you're comfortable with Symbaloo, There's a thing called lesson plans, and it allows you to utilize the WebMix feel, a game-like environment, and that you can create these guided, trackable lessons for your students. And as an educator, this to me is an amazing thing, especially, I'm not sure how any of your schools are, but more and more we're having schools that are moving to a one-to-one initiative, and they're wanting you to put technology to use in every aspect of your teaching, and it can get overwhelming, and that's why you have to borrow and use everything you can from someone else. So I'm going to go back into Google Chrome. Sorry about this. And I want to show you lesson plans. So this is what lesson plans starts out as. And like I said, what we did with Symbaloo is very, very basic, and it's easy to just move straight into Symbaloo lesson plans. I'm not going to get you logged in because I have a feeling you can figure out how to create your account. What I want to show you is what's already out there for you. And this is a great way to get started. Symbaloo will send out Twitter feed and Facebook feed and emails and everything else to tell you. They pick a lesson plan every week that they call the lesson plan of the week. A few weeks ago, there was one in science, and I've been trying to find a way to get my teachers to start using this. So I sent it out to them as an assignment and said, okay, I want you to log in and I want you to take this. So then I got some interest in getting these used in the classroom. I'm going to pull just a random one up because you can pull it up by grade level, subject level, just about any time. And you'll notice they give you a time frame whenever you create it. And this is what the lesson is going to look like. It will load. Notice it has that WebMix look, but it's more of a game environment. So the students know they can start here, you put in your objectives and things like that, and then you move forward. You can put in notes, PDFs, videos, websites. You can create a quiz. There's just so many different things that you can do. And one thing that I will show you, and I do have to log in for this, is it's trackable, because whenever you assign it to your students, you then give them a code. So if I have this, after I've assigned it, you can see I only had 2 teachers attempt it, and I can pull up how far they went, what they did, and if there's questions, then I can go in individually and see their progress and see how they're doing. This was the one that I really enjoyed, and you notice there's a YouTube video here that they start the lesson with, and so forth. I'm going to go back to our meeting and take any questions that you have right now, especially just to get yourself started. And one more thing, Symbaloo, if you want to become certified, yes, that does cost. It is a very small fee, and it's a one-time fee that you do, because I did that back in 2013, and I haven't paid another penny since then. And the reason that Symbaloo is free, and this is a very important factor, is when you use links in Symbaloo, when we click on those links and we go to the websites, those websites then attribute that visit to Symbaloo. That's how they get their revenue, is from us taking and using links and leaving Symbaloo and going to a new website. And it's just a new e-commerce type thing. It's great, and I have utilized Symbaloo personally, not just in my classroom. when I first started using Symbaloo, I was using it personally, and it was before they had Symbaloo EDU. So I was using it, hadn't said anything to anybody. I came home, and I think my daughter was in 2nd grade, and she was on the computer, and I said, "What are you doing?" She had learned Symbaloo at school, and she had made her Symbaloo our homepage on the computer at home. So you can use it personally. You can use it professionally. You can use it as in a professional learning community, and you can use it and share it with your students. It is an absolutely wonderful way. I know for a fact there probably is not one person in this webinar that does not have a list of favorites on their web browser. And when you have that list of favorites, you have a list. That's what it is. I'm a visual person, so I like Symbaloo because I can see that's what I'm getting ready to do. And it's just easier to access. It's easier to see those websites that you want to visit than instead of scrolling through a list of hundreds and hundreds of websites. With me, I organize it, and I see that Mary was saying that as well. I organize things. I have the different web mixes for different things. Just like you saw, I have one for kindergarten, I have one for 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. Personally, outside of school, I have my Symbaloo that has, you know, places that I like to shop or traveling web mixes, things that I like to do. So there are so many different ways that you could put Symbaloo to use in your life, professionally or personally. If you have any questions on how to get started, I'm happy to get you started. It's as easy as can be. So I'm opening you up for questions right now. Yeah, they do. And that's what I did. I embedded it on my on the school website, but then it is also the home page. So whenever they open, I'm a Google Chrome user. So when they open Google Chrome, it's the very first page that they go to. And let me pull back up on the. I want to go back to the website, and I want to show you how I have my own custom URL, and that's what they see. I don't know why it's not working. Okay. In here, if I go to, and I'll answer, I just saw a question. If you look up at the top, I just pointed to my computer like I had you all right here in the room with me. If you notice right up there, it says jengossman.symbaloo.com. I have that URL because I am a certified professional development, I guess, pro. I think that's what they called me the last time I saw them. So, well, now it says this site can't be reached. I hope I didn't just lose everyone. Okay, so when they come in, it goes straight to this home page, and as always, the internet is trying to be a little booger with us. But I just wanted you to see right here, this was my personalized URL. And you saw that also on my website. So let's go on questions. On the lesson plans part, how do students get into the system for the teacher to track their progress? Very, very good question. You would give your students, if you remember whenever I was in the lesson plans at the very beginning, I'm going to log out again. I think I'm logged out. They would just go to the website, lessonplans.symbaloo.com. But while I've got you, let's go back to how your students are trackable. Very, very, very simple. Once you have your lesson plan, whether or not you created it or you borrowed it and made it your own, I'm joining right now. Once you have it all completed and you want to share it with them, there is an option for you to go in and it's like that share symbol, and you're going to share that out, and you're going to have what's called a tracking number, and that number, it's a class code tracking number that's what you're going to give. All right, I am in. Are you guys seeing anything now? Can you hear me? I'm afraid that I have lost everybody. Okay, so we have the beginning screen. So Mary, if you want to make me a presenter again, and then I'll go to a website, this should work from here. So you'll give your students this number. That's how they get started. They're going to put that number in. It's going to ask for that number. Then it's going to ask them what their name is, and they're going to put their name in. On your end, you can watch each student and watch the progress through the lesson. So you can walk around the room, or if you were doing one of the virtual learning days to make up for snow, you could say, at this time, this is what we're going to do. I want you to log in at home, and you could track their progress. So what they have to do is have that code, and then you have to start the lesson. Once you start the lesson, they can log in, and you'll have their name and everything that they have done. I hope that answered your question. And
do you have presenter rights?
I don't think so.
Because there are two Jennifer Gossmans now. So
I don't know why on my laptop this is messed up. Go back out and see. This brings me back here. And since I'm on a different computer now, I don't know who asked that question, but I hope that I answered it completely for you.
Okay, let me see.
Any other questions? This is a perfect example of how technology does not always work the way that you want it to work.
Plan Bs.
Exactly. You always have to have a plan B. That's what my principal and we're trying to do something tomorrow, and she said, but what if it doesn't work? Is there a plan B? I said, we will have a plan B. You always, always have a plan B. It is this whole thing, when you learn something new, sometimes it feels like it could be a little bit overwhelming. But you just have to take a step back and pretend like you're a student and just go with it very slowly. Anybody that I haven't introduced to Symbaloo or Symbaloo Lesson Plans, they just get excited. I'll have to tell you a funny story. My dad is retired. He wouldn't have known what Symbaloo was to save his life, and so I was sharing with him what I'm doing, what I've been doing at these conferences, and he said, wow, this is really cool. I want to learn how to use this. So here he is, 70-some years old, and he wants to make a Symbaloo web mix as his homepage. He's not in education. He's never been an educator. So it's not just for the educator, but the Symbaloo EDU is geared more towards the educator and that field. So the tiles and the web mixes that you'll be able to locate, because you can go in and find a web mix that's already created and then add it to your own account, and you can follow it. So anytime they update it, it will be updated for you. That's what's really nice. I don't know if any of you are familiar with 5-Star Technologies, but I have always had their web mix on mine, and so whenever they update it, it updates for me. And 5-Star pushes out tons of information on how to integrate technology. So you could find another teacher's. I found one on Indiana history that I put on mine, and I gave it to the 4th grade because they were always doing an Indiana history throughout the entire school year. So we have an Indiana history web mix that they can use throughout the school year. I hope I didn't go too fast.
No, I think it was just fine. And Lisa said that you answered her question about having the student or checking the student's progress. So
Good.
Are there any other questions from the audience? Does anybody else have any questions either about starting or the lesson plans? Yes, and technical difficulties, that's just the story of our lives. Just when it's going smoothly, there's a little wrench and we have to.
And there's a Symbaloo and a Symbaloo EDU app for the iPad, iPhone, and Android users, so you can actually utilize your web mixes on your mobile devices as well. And those are all free.
That is very handy.
It's an amazing tool. Like I said, I've been using that for good 7 years. So is there a tutorial? Absolutely. I'll give you some different ways. Let me put some links on us. If you just search YouTube and you type in Symbaloo EDU on YouTube, there is a YouTube channel that is created by the Symbaloo EDU representatives on tutorials for everything. And they have started putting tutorials up for lesson plans because lesson plans was literally brand new a year ago this time, and it was in beta version and came out. And then on the Symbaloo EDU, if you go to symbalooedu.com, you can go in and there are tutorials right there on their website that will help you with any questions on if you run into anything, because I still run into questions and have to go there and look for answers. I just spelled that wrong. That's correct. And the Symbaloo certified people, they host Twitter chats every Wednesday. I'm trying to remember, it's 5 p.m. Central Time. I always get confused. And it is or you can look up like with those two hashtags. And what they do is they pick something different every single week and just go with it, and people start throwing out information. Oh, Kimmy, I didn't know you were here.
She snuck in on you.
Do you have anything to add, Kimmy? I spelled your name wrong. I don't know if you want to make her a host and let her talk, because she probably could share some insight on some things too.
Kimmy, if you want to talk, you can unmute by either *6 or #6.
*6.
Maybe that means she doesn't want to talk.
I know she's.
Oh, she's tried to unmute. And you called in. Oh. Can we hear you now, Kimmy? Sounded like somebody unmuted. And it looks like you called in, so I don't know which of the many call-in users you are. So I guess if you want to share something quickly, you could just share it in the chat.
It might have been that last caller, number 17. Oh, thank you, Kimmy.
Here, we'll try this one. Kimmy, can you talk now? Nope, that's not her.
Okay, she just said that there's an update of the new version of lesson plans coming out this week, so watch out for it.
Excellent. Well, I think that there aren't any other questions we've had. Oh, and yes.
That's my voucher code for anyone that wants to go through the certification process. That'll allow you to get the basic certification for free or the PD Pro for $30.
Good. Okay. Well, it seems like we don't have any questions. It's been quiet for a while. So unless there's anything last minute, Jennifer, that you wanted to share, we can go ahead and close up the hour.
I think I got it all out.
Okay. Very good. Well, and if anybody has any questions about Symbaloo, feel free to reach out. You can get to our office at elearning@doe.in.gov, and if you have any questions, it can be passed on to Jennifer, or if she wants to share well, there you go. Her email address is right there, so you can reach out to Jennifer with questions. But yeah, Symbaloo, either personally or professionally, it's a really great tool. I've tried to get organized and use it. I'm good for a little bit, and I get a few tiles put in, and then I lose interest and I get distracted by something else. So I would like to get our family organized and get our home screen set up with that. So we'll see if I can get myself motivated now. But thank you to Jennifer for sharing some really great information about Symbaloo, and Kimmy for popping in. And these are just a lot of different ways to keep in contact with our office, with the Office of eLearning. And like I said, we have another webinar coming next month. We are always looking for topics for webinars and other professional development opportunities. So if you have a topic that you would like to share or something that you would like to see covered, please feel free to reach out to me. This is my email address. We love new ideas from new people. So that is all for this evening. We will get you all out of here before 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central to get your evening, your probably busy Tuesday night started. Thanks again to Jennifer and to Kimmy, and we hope to see you on Twitter or in a future webinar here with the Office of eLearning. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Jennifer.